Is 2019 your year to finally start blogging, but you have no idea where to get started? Trust me, I get it. I started my blog back in January of 2016 for a New Year's resolution, and it ended off paying out great. Now I'm a full-time writer, blogger, and entrepreneur. I no longer have to go in and worry about the 9 to 5, the boss, and all those things I hated about the corporate world. And blogging was my first introduction to learning about how people actually make money online and help people. It's one of the coolest mediums. It's only growing, as you can tell, with all the digital entrepreneurs out there and side hustlers and people that are really monetizing their skills. There are tons of ways to make money online and help people, and blogging is one of the best ones for 2019. In this video, I'm going to share with you 10 tips to help get you started and make sure you avoid all the mistakes that I made. My name is Michael Leonard, and I'm the creator of Inspire Your Success. So I want to go over these tips again because I made all these mistakes. In fact, I made a lot more than them, and I'm going to link to as many articles as I can in here because I want to help you speed up success. That's the entire point of my blog, Inspire Your Success, and podcast, is because I want to help people speed up success, because I'm not going to lie, I've failed a lot along the way, and I want to help you just get from A to B a lot quicker. Because a lot of the things out there when it comes to blogging or freelance writing or podcasting, they aren't that hard if you have that kind of guaranteed route to success. And I didn't have that when I started blogging. I just tried to kind of wing it, figure it out on my own. And at the end of the day, it took me a lot longer to actually get traffic and learn how to build an email list and get clients and sell online courses and all those things. So I want to share with you some fundamental basics to getting started. So if you're a brand new blogger and you have no idea, this is going to be the video for you. Alright, so the first thing that I recommend doing is not going cheap and trying to go the entirely free route. Look, blogging at the end of the day is a business. And if you want to have a great business, you need to invest in yourself, you need to invest in your business. And when you're going with those free platforms, you're just not owning your content and you're not able to monetize it and scale it and do all the things you need to be successful. Look, blogging is a very, very competitive environment. There's millions of blogs out there. But if you look at the studies, a lot of those blogs, in fact, a majority of them are dead blogs. People start and then they give up because it's too hard. It didn't work. They didn't get the traffic. They didn't make all this money they thought they were going to make, or whatever else the case is. So you have to realize, if you actually want to be a blogger and you want to take this serious and you want to work on it in a year, 3 years, or even 5 years down the line, you need to start with the right fundamentals and not try and go the cheap route just to save a few bucks now, because I promise it will cost you in the end. So for example, when I started, I didn't understand WordPress. I thought, this seems really hard, I don't really get it, I want to go somewhere like Weebly. It's a drag and drop, it's super easy, like I want to start there instead. Well, I ended up doing Weebly for the first year of my blog, which I was still working at the time, and it was super, super janky compared to WordPress. I mean, there was very little ways to make it rank in Google. There was just very, like, a cookie cutter kind of layouts and templates, and there just wasn't nearly as much you could do. So finally, at the end of 2016, I actually paid a company to switch it over to WordPress, and it ended up costing me like $1,000, which definitely overpaid for that looking back, but it's one of those things that I should have never even had to have that expense, because if I would have just started with WordPress and started the right way, then I wouldn't have had to pay that. So don't make that a mistake. Again, WordPress is super easy once you understand. There's just a few things that you can use, like Elementor plugin. That's a free plugin, and that's a drag and drop. You don't have to know any code or tech stuff. So that's, I think, a lot of things that hold people back from really getting started as bloggers, is the technology side of things. So don't worry about that, but I do recommend 1,000%, if you're going to take this serious and you want to create and build a business, start by spending some money on the right stuff, and it doesn't have to be that much. So the two things that I recommend are a actual paid platform, so that way you actually own your domain. So for example, my domain and website is Inspire Your Success. If I didn't own that domain, it would be inspireyoursuccess.wordpress.com. And that's one of those things where you can't run ads on it, you can't really make money on it, and it's just one of those kind of like blogging for fun. It's more of a hobby than an actual business. But blogging is a great way to make money online and to scale it. So you want to make sure that you own it, so that way you can actually do all these things on it. So again, start with the actual URL that you buy. So that's like 10 to 11 bucks. That's every year it renews. And then you need to buy hosting through whichever platform. I recommend either Bluehost or Siteground. And also recommend that you actually buy a paid theme. So I actually use the Genesis theme. It's like $50 a one-time fee, and it's a very small amount, anywhere between 50 and 100. I think I had bought in a few other sites before as well through there, so I had a discount. But again, all in all, it's going to set you back about, let's say, $100 a year just to get started. It's well worth it. Your site's going to look quality. It's going to look professional. People are instantly going to be attracted to it. It's going to have hosting behind it that's actually paid, so you can have customer service. And again, you're setting yourself up for success. If you guys are liking this content, make sure to subscribe down below. Don't want you to miss any great videos to make money online here in 2019. All right, so the second thing that I recommend doing is to create a plan for your site before you do anything. Have a general overview, because here's what I did. I did the exact opposite, and it cost me probably 2 years worth of actually creating great content and really monetizing the site and building an audience and all those things. So I can't stress this enough, guys. Please make sure that you have a plan and don't just start writing about whatever you want to write about. A blog is not your personal diary, unless that's what you want it to be and you don't really care if it makes money. But if most blogs that I follow, like ones that make 6 figures a month, are ones that have a consistent theme, they have a topic, they have a voice, and they know their audience. So please do not skip this step. This is huge, and this is one of the biggest mistakes I made. So I started out, basically my blog was kind of like my diary, if you will. There was a lot of personal finance, some millennial stuff. In 2016, I was just getting started. I thought it was so cool. So that was what I was writing about then. And then 2017, it kind of shifted a little bit to solely like personal finance, and then I quit my job, and so it kind of turned into entrepreneurship and quitting your job and all that. And then 2018, when I was actually a full-time blogger, I was like really into personal development and self-improvement. So I was like, well, I want to incorporate that in there. So I had shiny object syndrome throughout of it. I mean, I was always trying to help people. I always meant well, but at the end of the day, it was just like, what do you blog about? Like, there's too much on there. So finally in 2018, I realized like, hey, I need a central mission for everything. So now all of my content on there now is basically under 2 things. It's either helping you build an online business or learning the habits of successful entrepreneurs. So those are kind of my like general categories, and then within each of those I have specific categories. So under building an online business, I have freelance writing, podcasting, building online courses, and blogging. And then under successful entrepreneurs, I have daily success habits, morning routines, things like that. So make sure that you have a very clear outline before you start writing, so that way you don't waste years basically just writing for nothing. Because in 2018, when I went back, I actually deleted like 60% of the content on the site because it just wasn't useful. Like, I can't be writing about how to freelance write and then have an old post on there about 401ks. It just didn't make sense. So I don't want you guys to waste years like I did. All right, start, have a plan, know kind of the mission. See if you could write about it in a year, 2 years, or even 5 years. You think down the line. Again, you can change. Things are going to shift in your life and in your business, but you want to have at least some sort of overview and the categories that you're going to write in. Because once you have categories that are clear, obviously readers understand what your site's about, but Google does as well. And we'll talk more about Google here in just a second on the importance of SEO. But again, make sure you have a plan before you get started. All right, so speaking of Google and getting traffic and getting people to your blog, the third thing I want to talk to you about is the importance of keyword research. Now, if you're like me as an old blogger, you would have clicked out of this video right now because you didn't want to learn about it, you didn't want to hear about it. Well, let me tell you very, very clearly, if you don't do keyword research, you're not going to get found. If you're not going to get found and on the biggest platform in the world, Google, then no one's going to read your blog. You're never going to make money from it. You're not going to be able to quit your job. You're not going to be able to help people around the world, because you have to have keyword research within your blog. Again, guys, this is a huge mistake that I made too. I don't want to sound like, hey, this is what you're supposed to do. Like, this is not the case. I made every single one of these mistakes, and they cost me years of potential success. So I just don't want you guys to have the same mistakes. So again, keyword research is basically just making sure all of your posts are going to actually be something that people want to read about. And if you look again, like if you have a specific category that you're looking for, then you basically do keyword research on different tools and paid and free site, so that way you can really learn like, hey, here's what people are looking for in my industry, here's how they type it in on Google, and now I'm going to create a article specifically around it. And again, that just increases the likelihood that you're found by Google, so you go up in search results and then people actually find your website and interact with you. So for example, like before I write any posts now, I actually go through a few different tools that I use and I actually find the exact keyword. For example, I have a post, what is freelance writing? And it's just a simple post like that, but if you go on and look at search tools, about 2,900 a month searches happen for that specific keyword. So obviously people are looking for it. So it's up to me to make a quality article that ranks high and is something that's valuable to readers. So again, I did my research, I wrote about it, and then I did all the other tactics that you need to do within a blog post that I'll talk about in some other videos. But I can't stress this again enough because I wrote so many posts in the old days that just went in the abyss. They were in the ether of Google. Nobody read them, nobody knew they were around. I got some traffic from Pinterest or a little bit from Twitter here and there, but if you want long-term success, you have to tap into the power of Google. That is where bloggers that are making 6 figures a month are crushing it, because algorithms change, Facebook, ads get expensive, Pinterest might change, Instagram, whatever you're promoting, all those things change. But Google is one of those things that's not going anywhere. It's a $1 trillion business, and it's about creating great content so they find you valuable and show you to their audience. All right, so the fourth tip is just kind of an extension of the third one, and it's just really all about writing great posts. So again, keyword research is huge. You want to make sure that you obviously have content that people are searching for. Again, blogging is not a personal diary unless you want it to be, and it's more of a hobby. But if you want it to be a business and you want to build long-term success, you need to obviously have writing that is appealing to people. You don't want to have huge blocks of text. You don't want to have no images. You don't want to have a bunch of ads everywhere. Like, you want to write with purpose. So again, what I like to do is I actually create an outline before all of my posts. So I have the title, I have the headers, I have the bullet points, I have some quotes that I want, and I do all the outlining in advance, so that way I can actually go back, and then when I want to write the full article, I just throw on my headphones, I got my music on, and I just write the entire post, because I've already done my keyword research, I've already created my outline, I already have my images made, so now it's just to actually get into the meat of it and write a great article that helps people and is going to be found by Google. That's the two things you want from every article. Is Google going to find it helpful for their audience, and are people that are actually reading it going to be helpful? That's all you need to do. Keep it simple. Write in short sentences, short paragraphs, a lot of white space, great images, and just make it fun, make it a good read. Don't be a monotonous blogger that's just typing the same thing and regurgitating old articles. Like, have a voice, add some humor to it, entertain and educate your audience. All right, so the fifth thing that you need to remember as a beginning blogger is that you need to really kind of narrow in on how you're actually going to get traffic. And I've talked about Google a lot because Google is my number one source of traffic, and it's the thing I don't worry about. I don't have to actively promote it like Pinterest or Twitter or Instagram, where I'm always updating it and adding content and posts. It's exhausting. But Google, it's all about creating one great piece of content, doing some marketing in the beginning, definitely, but then making sure that it's just an awesome piece that is going to live forever. Your goal with each post is to try and create an article that should withstand time. It should be evergreen. It should literally last and be helpful in a year or 2 years. That's not to say you can't update it, make it better, add some new images, whatever. But you want to create stuff that's super epic and easy for people to digest, and obviously Google is going to find it helpful. So Google is the number one thing that I recommend, but the other one right now is Pinterest. And that's not to say this might change in the future. This might not be the right video in 3 years, but Pinterest is one of those things you can get a lot of free traffic pretty quickly. So as a new blogger, it can be super frustrating in the beginning, because you can write and write and write and create all this content, and if you don't actually get any traffic, it's kind of depressing. It's like, why am I writing all this? And again, I made this mistake, guys. At the beginning, I'm pretty sure it was coworkers and friends and my mom reading my blog. Like, there was very few people actually doing it. So it kind of got disheartening after a year of writing. I'm like, what's the point? And then you let doubt and fear and all these other things get in and kind of crowd your mind. And instead, you need to actually just think, okay, how can I create content that helps people? How can I get found in Google? And how can I promote it on Pinterest? Keep it simple, because again, if you get traffic, then you can get emails, you can start making a few bucks, you can start building a tribe, and that's when you can really get that momentum going to keep being a successful blogger. Speaking of email lists, the sixth thing I recommend for all new bloggers is to start building your email list from day one. As the old saying goes, the money's in the list. And it's true. If you want to actually build a business as a blogger, if you want to make money over and over each month, you need to actually have a email list that you can send content to. You can promote your work. If you have paid products or affiliates or online courses or online coaching, whatever you're offering, you need to have your tribe. Because at the end of the day, you don't control your YouTube subscribers. You don't control all the people that just read your site. You don't control Instagram followers and Twitter followers and all that. But you do control your email list. So the most successful bloggers I know, if all their social media crashed tomorrow, they'd be okay because they have tens of thousands of people on an email list that they can still sell to and obviously provide value for their readers. So it's important because, again, if people want to read your stuff, it's up to you to build an email list so that way you can send it out every time you create new. And again, guys, this was a huge mistake I made. I was very inconsistent. I didn't even have an email list in the beginning. For a while, I was using a broken plugin. Like, it was just a disaster. I lost out on thousands of dollars. So what I recommend doing is start with a paid service. It's like 29 bucks a month. I use ConvertKit. I'll link to it down below. It's a super easy to use platform. And again, it just makes it easy up to your first 1,000 subscribers. If you want to go totally free, that works as well, but there is limited capabilities, but you can use MailChimp with that. So again, just make sure you're building your email list so you can build that tribe of your first 1,000 loyal followers. All right, before we jump into number 7, again, if you guys are liking this, make sure to like it and subscribe for more of that content so you don't miss any of these useful videos. So the next thing that I recommend doing is just staying consistent. I cannot tell you how important this is, and again, it's another huge mistake I made, but you need to be consistent and persistent when you're a blogger, especially in the beginning. When you're just getting started, you need to build trust with your readers. You need to build trust with your audience and let them know, like, hey, I'm gonna produce 1 or 2 or 3 articles a week every week for you guys. Like, I'm here to help. That builds trust with you, and it also just gives you more content out there. And the more content you have, obviously you're basically going to have more chances of being found by Google, more chances of one article getting shared or reposted and getting more readers. So it's just a numbers game. If you only have 10 posts on your site versus 100, like, which one do you think is going to make more money or get a bigger email list or get more traffic? Like, obviously the one with 100 is going to have a lot better chance. Again, I don't want you to sacrifice quality. That's the biggest thing. Quality over quantity still. But if you can find a mesh of quality and consistency, that is the key to crushing it as a blogger. All right, my 8th tip for you is to get in the habit of batching. Now, what is batching? You might be thinking. Batching is basically breaking up the task of blogging into different buckets and then doing all of them at once. Because blogging is one of those things, there's a lot of different components to it, and it's easy to spend a lot of time not actually creating content or marketing in the right way and just wasting your time. So, for example, a blog post is going to require a few things. You have to create a headline, you have to create an outline, you have to actually write the post, you have to create the images for the post, you have to schedule it on social media, you have to edit it, and then you have to just continually market it on different social media platforms, and then also send an email and do all these things. So instead of trying to do all that in that order, instead it's about creating that outline and plan for the week or for the month or even for the year if you really want to go all out and actually have a plan for it. So here's what I do. So each month, I actually, at the end of the month, I look ahead to the next month and I think, okay, what are my topics I want to write about? And then I break them down. I have all the topics, I create all my headlines at one time. And then I create all my outlines at one time. And then I figure out when am I going to actually write the post for them during the month and actually schedule that on my calendar. And then I create all the images in a specific time and all the social media in a certain time. So that way you're actually spending time doing all of the same things instead of writing and then editing and then marketing. Like, you just get really spread thin and it's kind of a waste of time. So again, I want you to stay in the zone so that way when you're writing, you're writing. When you're marketing, you're marketing. And that way you're more consistent and you can produce more content. And again, the more you produce, the more likely that you can actually make it as a blogger. All right, number 9. Again, I've talked about Google a lot, but it's important, guys. It's so important. That's why I just want to include this in there because again, I didn't focus on Google. I didn't understand SEO at all. And it was a huge thing. But now, like I mentioned, Google is my number 1 source of traffic. I get thousands of people from Google organically every single month. And it's just one of those things that if you create very SEO friendly articles, they're gonna rank and they're gonna be there in the long run. So I don't want you to just get traffic today from Pinterest or Twitter or Instagram. I want you to get traffic a year from now from Google or 2 years from now. So that is so important, is to spend time learning about SEO. Go on Search Engine Journal and Moz and all Backlinko and all these other websites and just spend a few minutes every month or every day or every week, whatever you want to do, just learning. Because the more you learn, the more you earn. And with blogging, this is huge. If you can, crack into that SEO puzzle and actually learn how to get your content to rank, again, you can make some serious money and you can have this traffic forever. I've talked to several different high-profile bloggers on my podcast, and the number 1 thing they talk about is learning about SEO and how that impacts their business the most. So again, I'm just taking these habits from the most successful bloggers, and then again, my number 1 source of traffic so I can help you. So don't neglect it like I did. Spend some time. It's not going to be entertaining probably, but think about it like this. If you don't know SEO, what's it going to be like in a year or 2 years if you don't learn it? So yes, it might not be the most fun to learn about, but again, it's the long way to success in the long term, so that way you're not just doing these short-term social media tactics. All right, so the 10th tip is to simply have fun. Like at the end of the day, you have to remember online business or building a business, being an entrepreneur, or even a side hustler, it's gonna have some struggles. You're gonna have days where you wanna break your laptop or punch your computer or just have these things because you get so frustrated building an email sequence or writing a post that gets deleted or nobody reads your stuff. It's all part of the process. Anybody that's actually built an online business or specifically a blog understands this. But it's up to you to figure out how to break into it and figure out your specific niche and where you fit into this, because you matter. Your voice matters. You know something that can help people. So it's all about creating that outline and understanding what your readers want and just trying to have fun with it. And again, it's not life or death. Like if you take it like that, you're gonna burn out and you're gonna quit. You're gonna be in that abyss of people that have just started a blog and then wasted a couple $100 and never actually saw it through. So please don't give up. It's not easy in the beginning, but if you build momentum, you have the right habits, and you get in these routines I talked about, I promise that you can crush it as a blogger. All right, guys, hopefully this was useful. I really enjoy writing and creating content for you guys that helps you make money online, understand blogging, writing, podcasting, and successful habits of entrepreneurs. So hit me down in the comment box if you have any questions, or maybe I didn't cover something you're curious about, and I'll make sure to get it in the comments or the next video. And if you don't want to miss any of these other videos, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and give it a like if it was useful. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you crush it as a blogger.